Who else you got on your list,
well,
James?
This is actually a surprise. I mean, it's not a surprise to people who are, around the NBA, but probably surprised hearing it come out of my mouth. Bill Laimbeer. Now, Bill Laimbeer, the prime of his career was in the 80s, so obviously I was young at the time, but Bill Laimbeer was somebody who had a reputation of committing hard fouls, and he also had a reputation of flopping a lot to sell off, fouls to the refs on teammates. Piston fans loved him. Everyone else, players, fans, hated him.
The bad boys.
Bad boys.
Yeah.
Dennis Rodman, our boy Dennis Rodman, actually in his book, Bad As I Want to Be, said that Laimbeer was more than a thug. However, that's what he'll be remembered for. And also, two other interesting things. The Beastie Boys song Tough Guy was about Bill Laimbeer. And Bill Laimbeer in 1991 for Super Nintendo had a video game called Bill Laimbeer's Combat Basketball, which endorsed violence and endorsed
a Mortal Kombat basketball game. I like that. He could shoot little rays out of his hands and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, how could he be left off our list?
Bill Laimbeer.
He is the original.
And he's the original bad boy. He is one of the original bad boys.
And what's interesting, he then becomes a WNBA head coach.
Go figure.
Coaches the WNBA.
So Oakley becomes a chef. Rodman, I mean, who knows?
Actually, I saw Rodman. Does he have a reality show or something?
That's
on
right,
TV?
he does.
He has a reality show.
I believe he's got the rock star kind of.
He made an appearance on The Apprentice also.
He was on The Apprentice.
He left. He got kicked off.
And guys, we cannot forget, he also starred side by side with Jean-Claude Van Damme in the movie Double Team.
There you go. I
think he showed off a little bit of his fighting skills in that movie.
And to sum off the fifth one on my list. Again, talking about Boston, I gotta go with my boy Kevin Garnett. Kevin Garnett is a true warrior, and he will do anything in his ability to help his teammates win. He is not by all means a dirty player, but Garnett is the prime example of somebody who can get dirty when he has to be.
I always thought Garnett was a little bit too tall and lanky for me to be on my fight, so I'm just gonna finish it off with a nice 7-foot, 300-pounder with Shaq to round out my top 5 fight team.
Shaq's a good choice, but at the end of the day, I like Kenyon Martin. I think Kenyon Martin.
Interesting.
You don't want to.
I always thought Kenyon was more of a punk.
Well, Tim Thomas called him Fugazi a couple of years ago.
You know what happened? And it was in the paper.
What does Kenyon
Martin. Kenyon Martin comes into practice.
Fake. It's another word for fake.
Kenyon Martin comes into practice wearing the newspaper wrapped around his body, saying, "Yeah, that's exactly what I am." Blah blah blah. I mean, Kenyon Martin is to me the number one. I would not want to be on his bad side either. But all right, so that's our countdown. We have a caller from Frankie Russo. Frankie Russo, caller.
Hello, Frankie.
Hey, Frank, can you hear us?
You there, Frankie?
Clearly, we're having phone problems here.
Technical difficulties.
Hello?
Frankie.
Hello, Frankie.
Yo, what's poppin', kid?
How you doing, man? How you doing?
Beautiful. AJ, man, your show is hot, bro. I'm really digging it.
I appreciate it, Frankie. That means a lot.
Good job over there.
All right.
And I got a question for you guys.
What's your inquiry, Frankie?
The Knicks. I'm a big-time Knicks fan, and I love the Knicks. I go back to the Clyde days and Willis Reed and B.B. King and Ray Williams and Michael Ray Richardson. In your estimation, what do you think about the who the Knicks going to end up with in this off season, man? I'm really, I'm pumped about it. I think Donnie Walsh and Coach D is doing a great job. They positioned us for a nice for a few good acquisitions. What do you think?
Well, Frankie, to answer your question, when it comes down to it, if the Knicks cannot get LeBron James or one of the three superstars, Chris Bosh or Dwayne Wade, it comes down to the backup plan. Joe Johnson, Amari Stoudemire, and even possibly re-signing David Lee, who's put up unbelievable numbers this year and actually broke an NBA record this year. So he's a great player to have on your team. I'm saying, though, despite that they want LeBron and LeBron's going to come to the Knicks and all that talk, if he doesn't come, I'm going to say Joe Johnson and Amari Stoudemire or Chris Bosh, and definitely get a center to complement both those players, and just use a lot of role players. Pick up easy pickups like veterans, such as Eddie House, who is on the Knicks now, guys that won't cost a lot of money, that will play well in Mike D'Antoni's system. And I think, again, next season the Knicks are definitely going to be in the playoffs. They have a great GM, and he has his work cut out for him in terms of what he's going to do with all the money they have. But I think Joe Johnson and Amari Stoudemire are going to both be Knicks. If not Stoudemire, I think David Lee will re-sign, and Joe Johnson will definitely be a Knick next season. But, yeah, so that answers the question. And we also...
Thanks for the call, Frankie.
Thanks for the call, Frankie. Frankie Russo, host of Rock Chicks Live. Tune in Friday. And he's a great host. He's wacky. He's crazy. So tune in. That's also on chataboutit.com. Just wrapping up the show here. We're running out of time. What about all the crazy playoff stories we've been hearing about? The Mavericks and the Spurs and all that talk about Caron Butler with the straw in his mouth.
Well, can I say something about the Mavericks? I've been a big Dirk Nowitzki fan for years, and one time, the year that he won his MVP, I would have made the argument that he was the best player in the league at that time. If Dirk doesn't win this series, if the Mavericks don't win, and they can't get out of the first round and progress in the playoffs, then I'm sorry, Dirk, man. Your time is up.
And you know what? I think the Mavericks, they have everything, but you know what? Jason Kidd, as good as player he is, I feel like they'd be better with a different point guard. I really feel that way. You know, maybe a player like Baron Davis. I've always been a Baron Davis fan. I've always been.
I always love Baron Davis.
Baron Davis is just a great player, and it stinks that he's not in the postseason. But he's strong. He scores. He plays defense. So actually, guys, who does Baron Davis remind you of? You guys think of anyone?
It's that beard.
That beard.
That beard.
Beard. I don't know. It kind of reminds me of that rapper Rick Ross. You know, you ever see that rapper Rick Ross?
Of course. Dude, Rick Ross may be a little bit bigger in the midsection.
But what's funny is for Baron's build, he is a chubby built guy.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I see Rick Ross. I see Baron Davis. Hey, Rick Ross could definitely play point guard. I have that. I think Rick Ross.
Well, it's probably because of the beard. That's what it comes down to.
I don't know. I think Rick Ross would be a better fit than Jason Kidd on the Mavericks.
Guys, I also want to point out that Dallas was the regular season's best road team record-wise. Obviously, they've already lost Game 3 on the road. So I think Dallas has to put in work.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in to Talkin Hoopz on chataboutit.com, the only home for Talkin Hoopz. Tune in next Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. See another show. Have another guest on for you. Never know what's going to come on this show. So stick with us. Keep listening to us. And have a good one. Thanks a lot.
Adios, fellas and ladies.